Hello and welcome to another episode of What to Pick. In this video series I go over a few different starting hands and explain what I would pick and why. And in today's first starting hand, it's an interesting decision between Robinson Industries and Thorgate. Both kind of off-meta picks, but Robinson definitely stronger than Thorgate. Same starting capital basically, and then much more flexible than Thorgate. Being able to spend 4MC to increase any of your productions is really flexible, really nice, and can often set you up for a really good engine strategy, while Thorgate's ability is just kind of meh, because you usually don't play that many power attacks. So let's see what we get in the starting hand. Pretty good preludes. Polar Industries is really good. Lets you place an ocean here on the Tharsis. That means you can pick up two cards or even two titanium or two plants, whatever you need with your start. Supply drop is always really strong. A lot of starting capital. The plants can also be used for a research network as a really good engine prelude, especially nice for Robinson because it grants you an MC prod, meaning that you can increase your other productions for longer. And Mohole could combo well with Polar Industries if you really want to go the rush route. But if we were going for like a heavy engine, probably I would keep these two. And if it was more like mid-game focused, then probably these two. But let's see what the starting hand has to offer. Interesting cards for sure. What immediately comes to mind here is Strip Mine plus Solar Power. We have supply drop, so we have a lot of steel. With Robinson Industries, we can increase power once, then play solar power with our steel, and then get strip mine down. Of course, you can also SP a power instead of solar power, which SPing a power is actually cheaper. But the building tech might come in handy for builder. Here with strip mine, mining rights, maybe even Noctis farming and solar power. We really are on a good way towards builder. So I would actually pick up solar power here, which is something I would normally not do. Other cards to consider here would be Adapted Lichen, because that would be the second plant tag together with Noctis farming for a potential NRA, for which you need 3. And then definitely Towing a Comet, also another really good pick. It's something to spend your titanium on. It's a generally good card. Together with Adapted Lichen and Noctis farming, this can grant you an early conversion, maybe even mining rights per bonus months. Investment Loan is also a good card, but we need to see if we can fit it in. Let's say, like, and then Methane from Titan, I think is just a bit too much. I mean, we could actually get it down immediately because Strip Mine will raise the oxygen to 2%. The question is then, can we even afford it? Should we play it? And what preludes do we want to combine with it? Let's say we skip it for now. Ice Cap Melting then I think is too high of an opportunity cost to pick up early. Same with farming. These 7 cards are the first that come to mind for me. This would get us down to 26 plus the 16 from supply drop from 8 steel. So 26 plus 16 is 42. Then ability plus solar power is 15, so you have 27 left, which is enough to play strip mine. And that means you cannot really pick up methane as well. You could say, let's skip something, like maybe skip Noxious farming and pick up methane. And then second gen, you play methane because you also have some titanium left over from supply drop. You could even play Polar Industries down here on the titanium to be able to afford methane in Gen 2. That would combo well with the heat prod you get from Polar Industries, and then the plant prod, of course, is always useful. Or you could say, let's skip Adapted Lichen, keep Noctis farming instead, because we have Steel Prod with Strip Mine, and that means that the building tech or Noctis farming makes the card much more playable. we wouldn't play Adapted Lycan in Gen 1 anyways because we get Strip Mine down. So that could be the setup you go for. Basically, it's a toss-up between methane, between keeping methane or not keeping methane. And if you don't keep methane, I think we can keep Adapted Lycan because everything fits together. And if we keep methane, we skip Adapted Lycan to be able to afford Strip Mine plus solar power plus your ability. You always keep Supply Drop here to be able to get Strip Mine down Gen 1. And with Strip Mine, you could say, okay, we are going for a really heavy engine. Let's skip Polar Industries and go for a Research Network instead. The thing is, and if you're skipping methane and keeping Adapted Lycan instead, that would be your third plan tag if you find NRA. The thing is, like on the starting hand, we don't have any continuous card draw. We have no continuous card draw, no card draw whatsoever. We have 3 cards that we draw with Research Network, but those could be duds. And then we are in a really heavy engine setup with like no heat control. We have really good development, but no card draw. So what are we doing with all of that development? Of course, we could play methane, but then I think let's just stick with Polar Industries, get that additional heat prod, take some titanium with this ocean to get methane down faster. And I think then that would be a setup that I would go for. This actually could also be a Thorgate hand for once. Like if this was a really shitty corp, like that wouldn't fit at all with the starting hand, then you could also go with Thorgate. Probably keep the same cards here. And instead of using your ability with Robinson, you just play solar power because you start with 1 power prod. You just play solar power, you get Strip Mine down, and that's it with Thorgate already, which is quite nice. Again, I think you keep the same preludes, and you generally go for the same strategy. This is much cheaper in this situation. So let's say 48 minus 21, that's 27. 27 minus 33. Jesus Christ, 27 plus 16. 27 plus 16 is 43. 43 minus 33 from solar power and Strip minus 10. So with Thorgate, you would even have enough to play Mining Rights Gen 1. And I think you would play it on per bonus once. And then again, you can combo that with Noctis farming, Methane from Titan, and towing a combat to get a greenery down relatively soon. And pretty strong start even with Thorgate. I think I still like Robinson more just because it's a stronger corp. But you could definitely go with Thorgate here. But yeah, that would be what I would pick. Let me know what you think of this starting hand, especially the methane question here. I don't know if we really want to pick that up. But yeah, let's get to the second hand. All right, hand number 2 is a decision between Tharsis and Valley Trust. I really love Valley Trust. It's one of my favorite corporations, so let's go with that for now. We have Supply Drop again, and again, I think Supply Drop is just a no-brainer, especially with a corp like Valley Trust, which is relatively poor. And then also really, really good other preludes, like Echo for Turbines is great, Metal Ridge Asteroid is great, Supplier is great. Let's see if we actually need more starting capital in the form of minerals. It could be that we just don't have any playable mineral cards in the early game, and then Echo for Turbines is definitely better. This doesn't look promising. Yeah, this doesn't look great. Okay, let's analyze this. So we have a few really bad cards here. Like Security Fleet is really bad. Zeppelins just doesn't make any sense to pick up in your starting hand. This is a banker swing, if anything. Then Space Mirrors is just not a good card. Industrial Center is quite nice, but who knows if your opponents will play cities. And also it's like not a card that you would play in Gen 1 and like you can play this in Gen 1. If your opponent gets a city down, you can play Industrial Center and even increase your steel prod. But I like it more in the mid game just to block opponents' conversion spots and stuff. But you can definitely pick it up. It's just not like a reliable early game card, because you never know if your opponents play cities. Bribe Committee is like a discount sponsors. It's not like if you don't have combo potential like Media Group, IC, or Earth Office, this just isn't that great. This is not the wait. No, this is not the map. We are on Hellas. On Elysium, there would be Legend for Bribe Committee, which makes this card much better because it's a cheap event and it counts towards Legend. But on Hellas, there's none of that. And then Comet for Venus is really expensive TR. If you don't need the Venus bump, it's really not that great because you never know if one of your opponents, and especially in a 3-player game, if the opponent you're really fighting for first place is playing any Venus tags. Fusion power, well, yeah, we can go for Energizer with the starting hand. We can pick Aquifer Turbines, Supply Drop, and then go for Geothermal and Fusion power. That will leave us with 7 power prot, which is basically the best thing we can go for here. And then we have ISO for Research, which is a really, really good card if you hit these 3 Venus tags, because then it's super good value. 2 good tags, 2 points, and 3 card draw for 15 in this case because of Valley Trust. 15 plus 3 is really, really good value. But surprise, surprise, we don't have any Venus tags, which is quite common because Venus cards are quite rare. And then satellites, well, we don't have any space tags, so satellites don't make any sense. This makes the start kind of horrendous, which is another reason to go for Valley Trust, because Valley Trust draws another prelude and can draw into card draws. Something like Research Network would be really, really good here. And I'm definitely inclined to go for Supply Drop and Aquifer Turbines, put Aquifer Turbines in the card, hope to find something good there. Okay, we have that interesting bug where we cannot select anything. Okay, good, we fixed it. So Aquifer Turbines plus Supply Drop. Definitely the preludes I would go for here. Just pick up Industrial Center, because if your opponent places a city early on, maybe even down south, you can place that next to it. You can increase your steel prot, which is definitely useful in the early game, and you can contest Polar Explorer. And if no one places a city, just keep this on hand, and maybe in the later game you can place it somewhere on these good conversion spots and block their Ocean Walk. In a low card starting hand, definitely keep Bribe Committee. Even a discount sponsor is not bad, so we keep it. And then I think we skip ISO for Research because we have no Venus tags inside. You can't get a Venus tag on your prelude. There are in the regular prelude, there are no Venus preludes. You could of course draw some with something like Research Network, and Research Network counts as a Venus tag because of the wild tag. But you also have to hit that prelude. And then Fusion power and Geothermal power. So at least we have basically a free milestone with Energizer if nothing out of the ordinary happens. So yeah, and because this is a Valley Trust hand, definitely not a Tharsis hand. Let's also see which third prelude we get. Just skip through the AI here. Doesn't matter what they play. Okay, Society support Galilean Mining, 2 absolutely atrocious preludes, then Allied Bank and Martian Industries. So we place Aquifer Turbines on the card. We get this down. They do some stuff. Okay, cool. And now let's see. Okay, sadly, no card draw, which is what we wanted. Power generation, I think, is overkill. We already have 7 freaking power pro on hand. I think we just keep Metals Company here. This will give us diversified production. It's one of the best preludes in my opinion, and will help us out economically a lot. So I would keep this. And then Oh my god, from the free card we got from our ocean, we got Inventor's Guild, which is best case scenario. This is an immediately playable card draw, continuous card draw card. So we definitely get this down, and then if we don't find anything better, we want to get a bribe committee down, we want to get these power hacks down, and claim Energizer quite soon. So this is basically the start I would go for here, and let's get to the last hand. Alright, last hand of today, and it's Saturn Systems versus Teractor. Both pretty good. Teractor, although, is top tier, so let's pick that for now. Sadly, it's not Point Luna, because an Allied Bank plus My Contractor would be insane. But still, I like these preludes, so let's keep them for now. Wow, okay. We have AI Central on our starting hand. Was there any science? No. Sadly, no science tags on the preludes. But we have Search for Life. We have the power for AI Central. We have AI Central. We have business contacts, so definitely going for Teractor here to get business contacts down cheaper, because with business contacts we can efficiently look for more science tags to get AI Central down. We keep My Contractor to draw one card, could be a science tag, which would be great. I think we couldn't skip Allied Bank and go for Metals Company instead, because the one of the benefits of Allied Bank is the 3 MC that you get on top of the 4 MC prod, which makes this a better early game prelude than the Metals Company. But Teractor doesn't lack starting capital, so I think we can go for Metals Company instead. And maybe therefore keep Terraforming Ganymede, because it looks like we're going for a heavy science strat. And then TG is definitely a great late game card if we find more Jovians. And the Titanium Prod we get from Metals Company definitely would help to get Jovian tags down. Rest of the cards, Food Factory, never picked this up, absolutely atrocious. Noctis Farming, we don't have any heat control. I think we want to go light on cards because we want to play the card draw early, try to find science tags and get AI Central down. So I would skip this in the starting hand. Local heat trapping, no heat prod, so wouldn't keep this. Power Supply Consortium is interesting, but we already have energy tapping. And in a 2P game, you already rely on your opponent getting energy prod once to get energy tapping down. Better not rely a second time. But it's really great to know that both of these are out, so we can really freely play with our power prod and don't have to protect it that much. And I would honestly also keep Martian Survey. The science tag doesn't count towards AI Central, but it can help find more science tags so that we can get this down. We're playing on Elysium, and therefore we have Legend. Another reason to keep Martian Survey. Not a reason to keep local heat trapping, because, as I said, we don't have any heat prod. Doesn't make sense to keep this. So business contacts and Martian Survey can mean we can go for Legend maybe. Other than that, Generalist could be a thing with Metals Company, but unlikely that we find the rest of the prods as well. But yeah, I think this is a really easy starting hand to consider. Don't think you're ever keeping Saturn Systems here. You might be baited into that by TG, but you don't have any early game Jovians like Asteroid Mining, Vesta Shipyard, or whatever. So TG is a really, really late game card, and therefore your effect will not help you in any way with this starting hand, and it will even deter your opponent from passing you any Jovians more, which will hinder you in getting a really good TG down. Definitely keeping Teractor here in my opinion. So yeah, the starting hands basically got progressively easier. This last one I think is quite easy to figure out what you want to pick. It's not easy to play because there's not a lot you can do in the first gen other than rip card draw and hope you find science text for AI Central and more economy, but you already have quite a good economy. That's 6 prod, that's another 3 prod. So 9 prod just from preludes and then really high starting capital. So I think this all fits together quite well. But yeah, with this starting hand again, let me know what you would have done. Maybe you would go for Saturn systems here. Maybe you would keep Noctis farming or skip Martian survey. Just let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing. It really helps me out. And I guess I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, guys, and goodbye.